Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and today I am playing along with the latest sketch challenge for the Love of Pretty Paper scrapbooking group. I'm using the Simple Vintage Halloween collection by Simple Stories to make a Halloween layout because the sketch was kind of Halloween related. It's got a massive spider web on it. Now I'm not actually going to use a spider web, I'm going to use a circle, but you could use this doesn't have to be a Halloween layout, so if you wanted to do something completely different that had nothing to do with Halloween whatsoever, that would be fine. I just happen to love Halloween, so that's what I decided to do. So I've gone for a black background, which is one of the Simple Stories papers, comes in the basics packs for the Simple Vintage collections. And then I've taken this orange circle, which I just drew with a compass and freehand cut out. And that has got stars all over it. So I'm a real sucker for stars. So I thought I would use that one in the background. So that's going to be my circle that will go in the middle of my layout. And then I've got these spider webs that I'd fussy cut earlier, and I was just going to try and figure out what I might do with those. I thought I might fussy cut a couple more. I cut one big chunk, but actually individual ones might be better. And then I've just gone through my load of embellishments that I have and pulled out a few bits and pieces. So I've got one of these chipboard clusters. I really love the chipboard clusters. They're like layers upon layers, just pre-printed. They're really lovely to use. And then I've gone for one of the chipboard frames as well. It's a long one with 3 circles in it, but I'm not going to use it as a frame. I'm just going to use it as a layer, and I'm going to put something in that top circle that is open against the orange background. Yeah, you can see that that's kind of taking shape. I'm kind of following the sketch fairly closely, although the sketch has 2 photos, 2 small square photos maybe. I've only got the one, but it's a landscape one, so I think that works. Say sketches are always only ever a starting point, so never anything to worry about if you end up with your layouts looking a bit different to what the sketch looks like. So yeah, I'm going for this black background, and I decided that I wanted to add some silver paint. I was going to add white paint to this background. Big splatters of white paint I was going to go for, but then I thought that silver might look better on the black because it would kind of be a bit, spooky-ish maybe. However, this is a new paint shaker thing. They're basically giant pens, but they contain liquid acrylic paint. They're by Liquitex, and they're called the acrylic paint markers. So they're actually acrylic paint, because when I think of acrylic paint, it's normally quite thick, but actually this is already kind of mixed with water or something, because it's not as thick as a normal acrylic paint. So it's already, as far as I'm concerned, ready to splatter. Anyway, so I had some major problems getting the paint to come out of the pen. I couldn't activate it. You have to pump the ends. So I actually unscrewed it and put some of the paint onto a craft sheet there. Anyway, and then after I had done that, then it activated no problem. So maybe there was some, maybe the paint was just a bit gummed up or something. It was a bit of a thicker layer of paint. There you go. Let's see that it's working. See, what was all that about? So yeah, I reckon there was just a gummed up layer of paint over the nozzle or the hole or something, and anyway, it wouldn't work, but now it does. So happy days. So anyway, I have now got loads, as you can see, of silver splatters all over that black background, and this paint will take a little while to dry, not very long. It does dry pretty quickly, so I'm just cleaning everything up there while it dries, and then I'm going to get on with the rest of my layout. So first thing I'm going to do is stick that circle into the middle of the background, and it's going to take me a few minutes to add foam pads and then peel all the backs off, so my paint can be drying whilst I do that. So there we go, that is that. I'm just going to spend a few minutes peeling all of those off. And then I can pop that straight back onto the background, which will hopefully be dry enough by the time that I stick it. So lots of people ask me why on earth I use these little tiny foam pads. Good question. I just haven't found any bigger ones that I like, because the bigger ones tend to be really, really expensive, so I tend not to buy them. And I'm never been sold on the foam sheets, although perhaps if somebody was to give me some, I don't mean that, but not as in just because, as in somebody was to give me some to try, for example, then I might give it a go and try. But I've never actually kind of bit the bullet and bought some myself. Basically, in case I buy the wrong thing, I'm worried that it won't be the right thickness or it won't be sticky or whatever. So anyway, I use tiny foam pads. I love them. I'm happy with them. So I'm just going to keep going with those. Despite people commenting and saying that I'm a bit of a weirdo. Anyway, right. So I'm going to get all of these layers stuck in place now. I'm happy with how it was looking. I pulled out some other embellishments as well, like some pumpkins. In the Simple Vintage collections, there's a number of different types of embellishment packs. So we have journaling bits and pumpkin bits in this collection, and normal bits and pieces. So yeah, we have all sorts of bits and pieces in these types of collections. So I put out some pumpkins. I love the pumpkin faces. They're super cute. All with a vintagey feel. I think I'm not always a fan of vintage collections. Sometimes I am. Certainly the Simple Stories ones have changed my mind. They're all pretty beautiful. I just find them slightly harder to use because I have photos of kids most of the time. If I had photos of adults being sensible, then the vintage ones might look I might find it easier to use them. But I think for Halloween, definitely okay to be vintage, because Halloween is a bit vintagey, isn't it? So it can be very cartoon as well with the characters, but this one I love the feel of it. My daughter is dressed in a dress-up dress, which is all kind of like shabby chic, and although so kind of vintage, old style definitely. So anyway, where am I going? I'm now going to just continue following the sketch and building up my clusters around either side of the photo, and over to the right hand side as well. So I'm just adding more and more pumpkins. I do love the pumpkins. I've got a spider web going in there. That's one of the ones that I fussy cut earlier. I'm going to get my pumpkins stuck in place on top of that. And I've already put a title in place, which is the word boo, and that is from some of the foam stickers. There they are, that Simple Stories always do with all their collections these days. They're normally a mix of titles and icons, which I think is really cool. And then I have some chipboard pieces and other foam pieces, and smaller bits and pieces as well. So smaller hearts and stars and bats. And then I've got some little label or phrase stickers there. It says Hello October and Wickedly Good Time. And I'm just adding some decorative brads. I like to have a mix of products on my pages, so mix of chipboard and ephemera and enamel and foam. So yeah, I like to have a mixture of things, just to give it all lots of dimension and lots of interest. So there we go, that is my layout pretty much complete. And I ripped it as I was distressing the edges, how annoying. So I'm just going to tape that back together and we just won't worry about it. Okay, so I'm hoping my sound is back. Sorry that I had some problems with that previous clip. Yeah, so I added some Bramble Fox perspectives, some perms just to bring in a bit of colour. So there we go. That is my layout complete. I hope you have enjoyed this layout. And yeah, please play along with the sketches over on For the Love of Pretty Paper. Thanks for watching.